All right, well, thank you all for joining us over here at the Project Nerd Pavilion live at Kansas. I'm going to say Kansas City because that's where I'm from.
That's not where we're from.
Colorado Springs Comic-Con. We are here with Euphoria.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that is you. We are sponsored by Pop-Up Lockers this weekend, so big shout out to them for providing this stuff for us. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the character you are today, how your weekend has gone, all that kind of. Just tell us about your life.
The character I am today is, I say her name Mara because I first met her in the comics and it's an E, but the movies say it Mira, so I'm just confused right now. So I'm Mara, Queen of Atlantis, Queen in Exile, from her Queen of Atlantis comic book that came out, a couple of years ago or maybe this last year?
Yeah, but she got super popularized with the Aquaman movie.
She did. She's
Right.
always been a fabulous character because who
Yeah.
doesn't love somebody that's going to kill you and then falls in love with you? But
I know.
Then she got popular by the movie.
Yeah. Well, see, and for most men, like in my experience, it's usually they fall in love with you and then they want to kill you.
Yeah, like Elektra or something.
Yeah, right. Or like my wife. So my wife.
He loves you, I'm sure.
I do. But anyway, so what were you dressed as yesterday?
Yesterday was my favorite girl, Rogue.
Rogue.
From the
yeah,
X-Men. I was
yeah.
classic 90s Jim Lee style Rogue.
Yeah, I saw you
Yes.
walking around. Okay, and then.
And with
what-
that, my husband usually does Gambit, but he couldn't come this weekend.
Oh my
so.
God, that's perfect.
I know.
Can
he
you
makes
do
a dreamy Gambit.
Can you do the accent?
Oh, he tries, but it comes out like the 90s animated series.
Oh my God, that's terrible. But that's good. So you guys do cosplay together?
Yeah, we do a lot of couples cosplay.
Okay, so what's is Gambit and Rogue one of your favorites to do?
Yes, we're working our way through all of their renditions of costumes through the years.
Oh, that's awesome. What are some other couples cosplays you do?
We Harley and Joker, of course.
Harley and Joker,
He's
sure.
gonna be the Aquaman to my Mara. We've done
Okay.
Todd and Envy from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Honestly, we've done a lot. It's
Yeah.
just coordinating them and getting them all set
Yeah,
up.
so I've thought about doing cosplay a lot, but I've never pulled the trigger on it because I can never decide like what character I want to be because I can never decide if do I want to do serious cosplay or hilarious cosplay.
Why not do both?
I feel like those two are mutually exclusive. So like I love seeing people that are going around in the like Thor from
The Fat Thor?
yeah.
He's hilarious.
I know, I love that. And
But that actor, Chris Hemsworth, he was serious Thor, and then he was Fat Thor, so you can do both.
yeah, that's
It's called
true.
range in acting.
That's true. I could do one day and then So when you are so what's this costume? How did you make it yourself and like how did you do that?
This is her current comic book costume, and I made it myself. I am actually a seamstress. I have a degree in fashion design.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So I do custom costume commissions for other people,
Oh.
and then wedding dresses, fashion couture, all that stuff.
So you're gonna make my Thor costume.
I can totally make your Thor costume.
Right.
The Fat Thor one, or like the more intense Thor
Well,
one.
technically speaking, if I'm doing it, it's Fat Thor both times.
All
but
right.
all right.
Oh, it's called a girdle.
Oh my God, I like breathing.
All
sorry.
women wear shapewear underneath
That's
these
true.
bodysuits.
That's
It's
true.
not comic book looking unless you wear the shapewear.
So like your so what is it made out of? What
Okay,
did you do for
so
this?
Yaya Han started her cosplay fabrics line, and
Mm-hmm.
I love the fabrics they're releasing currently. Their 4-way jumbo stretch is my favorite by far, but it's currently discontinued. So everybody who loves that fabric, email them and tell them to bring it back because I need it in my life to make more suits like his Thor.
And she's gonna need a lot of material.
I'm gonna need a lot of it, so the company needs to
Ouch.
start making it. The cape is huge.
Oh, right. I was trying to do self-deprecating humor, not just get roasted. Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You didn't know what you were getting into. So this is her reason. It's a holographic dragon scale for the black, and then the hex printed 2-way stretch knit there. This is the ultra prime gold, and then the fins. I don't know if you can see them in the camera. My fins are EVA foam, and the wrist guards are EVA foam as well.
Okay. And then this looks like. Did you
3D
make
printed.
This?
I
3D
did.
printed.
I commissioned the
Sure.
3D print of the trident and the headpiece. So
and then you just got like a broom handle.
yeah,
Just kidding.
yeah. I went to Menards.
Oh, really?
With my father, and I was like, "Daddy, what do I need?" And he was
great.
like, "Let's go to the electrical section. Let's go to the PVC section."
I love that.
Yeah, he
That's
helped
awesome.
me out. Shout out to my pa.
Good.
Thanks,
So good
Dad.
old. So your dad has helped you a little bit with some of it, just some of the like construction stuff.
Basically the trident.
Just the trident?
Just the trident. I actually grew up doing construction. He has a
Okay.
construction company, so I know a lot of
Okay,
stuff.
so he doesn't have to help you with like the.
A lot, yeah.
Right. Okay, that's
No,
good.
I borrowed his Dremel for this stuff. But
Right. Well, he's got tools, so that's
he
good.
does. He got
So if you
all
ever-
the tools.
If you ever realize you don't have something you need, just
Just be
go
like,
over to
"Hey, Dad,
Dad."
what's
So
up?"
when did you start cosplaying?
I technically never knew what cosplay was until like 4 years ago.
Mhm.
But when I was in high school in '08, I made my rogue costume for the first time. It was terrible. It was like 2 pieces and really bad knit fabric. It was terrible, cheapy wig. So I think that's technically the first time. I just had
Sure.
no idea what it was. I was like, I'm just going to be rogue because I love her. So that was 2008.
Okay.
Officially, like actually knowing what it is, maybe 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So since your dad's helped you, your parents are supportive and
Yeah.
do they think it's cool? Do they get it?
I don't think they get it quite so much, but they like to see me make stuff. Like when I showed them this costume I was making, they were like, "Oh, that's amazing!" Because he's an architect, he's a designer,
Yeah.
he builds houses and
Yeah,
designs
so he gets
them.
the visual
So he gets
kind
the
of things.
construction that goes into actually
Right.
making a costume.
Mhm.
And my mom, she was the one who always taught me how to do makeup, and she was the one who would make us Halloween costumes when we were kids.
Okay.
So it's like taking things that they imbued in me, and like as
Yeah.
a kid growing up, things I saw and I liked and admired. She was a cosmetologist, so the hair and the makeup that goes into
Okay.
this, I always credit it to my mom because she was always the first one that got me into that. She's also the one that started me on sewing. The first
okay.
the first costume I tried to make, oh my goodness. I wanted to be I Dream of Jeannie. So, right, there was a spirit week at Halloween.
Sure.
Halloween week, spirit week at school, whatever in high school. I was like, I want to be I Dream of Jeannie. And she's like, all right, well, let's get some fabric and I'll show you how to sew it. Because she grew up sewing her own clothes like they did in the olden days.
Way back
Way
when.
back when. And so she was like, go downstairs where the sewing room was. Wait for me. I will be down soon. Because she was like cooking dinner or something important. And so I was sitting there. It was probably 2 minutes, but I felt like it was an hour.
Yeah, it's an
And so
eternity.
I know. I was waiting and I was waiting.
You
I was
have
like,
stuff you want to do.
I'm gonna do it. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do it. And so I laid out the fabric and I cut out 2 big rectangles for my legs. And I tried to sew them up and I tried to put them on. And I realized there was no crotch in my pants.
It's just
So they came up to my crotch and they just stopped. So I went back upstairs and I was like, Mom.
I need you to fix this.
And she did.
That's great.
She's amazing.
My mom made me a costume once, and I was in like
Uh-huh.
4th grade, I think, and I wanted to be Link from The Legend of
Oh,
Zelda.
great
And it was
first
actually
choice.
it was actually pretty decent. And we took my shield was like a piece of cardboard that I drew a Triforce with a yellow
Not a
marker
trash can,
on.
huh?
Not a trash can lid.
All right.
I think the sword was some like goofy souvenir sword I bought from SeaWorld
Oh, perfect.
when we went
That's
there.
okay.
Yeah, and then
we piece things and make things work.
right, and then yeah, but it was actually pretty decent. And then most people were like, "Oh, you're Robin Hood."
Well, how many people know who Link is?
I'm sorry, it was only like the best video game from like the
Only,
late 80s,
yes,
early
the
90s.
best. It's true.
Right, like
But
everybody should know about
They did
that.
get the green ensemble.
Yeah, and
If
so
you were Robin Hood, you should have had a bow, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like that's anyway. How have you been misidentified
Yes.
this weekend?
Okay, the funniest thing, and I get it actually quite consistently, is when I'm wearing Rogue, people will come up and say, "Oh, Storm," and I'm like, "Close?
Sure.
Maybe it's not close."
I mean, I could see like
They're on the same team a lot.
right. Well, I could see like Jubilee. You
Right,
know, like
misidentifying with Jubilee or
yeah,
something like that. But Storm, I mean, she's a different ethnicity. I mean,
Well, she's she's got a very
personality difference.
aesthetically different.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I love Storm. Rogue
Uh-huh.
is my #1 girl.
Yeah.
But if I had somebody would ask me who is the most powerful person, female character in the Marvel universe, I would say Storm right away.
Absolutely.
She's got the power, but beyond that, like she led the X-Men with no powers for the longest time in the
Yeah.
comics. She is so strong-willed and she knows how to lead
And
people.
didn't she like
She married T'Challa,
Yeah, that's
and
yeah,
then
she
she had to
married
side
Black
with the
Panther.
mutants, and their
Yeah.
marriage ended, and you just broke your
Yeah,
heart. You're like,
yeah.
no.
Spoilers. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
and she's just such a character with honor and integrity,
yeah.
but she can still kick your butt if she needs to.
Yeah, I always liked Storm as well. See, I was never a big X-Men person. Like,
We're not friends now.
Well, like I like it, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm also like I like my comic book heroes like full of testosterone and violent.
Okay, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Wolverine.
Wolverine's
Wolverine's great. Yeah,
What about
Cable's
Gambit?
great.
He's more of the man of mystery, not full
Gambit,
of testosterone.
I like Gambit because when played correctly by an actor or someone,
which has not happened in a movie.
right, he could be very like
Man of mystery.
kind of sexy.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like-
yeah. Oh, he is the epitome of sexy,
Right,
which
and-
is why he's my husband.
Right, exactly. But you know, I recognize it and I appreciate that and I was really kind of bummed that it doesn't seem like the Channing Tatum Gambit's gonna happen.
I'm so happy the Channing Tatum is not going to happen.
Really?
I didn't want him as Gambit in
I
a
heard-
bad way.
But see, I heard like from people saying like he's getting kind of ready for the role, and people
Yeah.
were like, he's kind of killing it actually. Like he's got the accent
I
down.
don't know, man. I didn't trust it, and that's my gut feeling.
See, and that's the thing is, I think he would actually, I think he would have been a fine actor for it. I didn't trust the people making the movie.
Yeah.
I think he would have been great.
He
and
gave it
that-
his all.
and that would have been it.
The one movie I saw that I was like, okay, maybe I can see you pulling this off. It was The Hateful Eight. Did you ever
Oh,
see that
yeah,
one? He
yeah.
had the tiniest role in that movie, but I saw a glimmer of potential
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, maybe.
See,
maybe.
I always thought Gambit had the coolest powers though.
You know, he's Omega level potential
Yeah.
because Mr. Sinister took out a part of his brain.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I know, it's great.
I mean, Professor X isn't even Omega level.
Well, he might be now. He's back in
That's
Phantom
fair.
X's body.
That's fair.
It's the X-Men's going through a whole reboot
It's
right
a
now,
thing.
so who knows what's going up. As long as they keep Rogue Gambit married, that's all I'm
That's
asking,
all that
guys.
matters.
That's all I'm
Otherwise-
asking, Marvel.
Otherwise, your husband's gonna have to come up with a completely different
know.
cosplay.
Well, when we got married, our rehearsal dinner we actually did in Rogue Gambit costumes.
Are you serious?
Yes,
That's so
we're that
cool.
big of fans.
I love that. We didn't. My wife didn't get nerdy till after we got married.
Okay.
Like she was kind of getting into it a little bit,
It's
and like
okay,
now
it's
we've been
okay.
doing the con thing,
Yeah.
and she's in the cosplay, and she's like, "That's so cool." And
It's
I was
kin-
like, "Well, you could do it."
It's kind of infectious.
Right, and then so she's like, "Oh, maybe." I'm like,
So what
"Do
does
it."
she like?
She's probably watching. She likes all the same stuff that I like, and she doesn't like my suggestions for the characters she should cosplay
Okay.
as because they're usually very scantily clad.
That's I
'Cause
mean, that's an
she's-
issue. I
She's my
guess.
wife,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I mean,
Everybody has their own line.
the first one I suggested for her that she said no is Power Girl,
Okay.
but like she also looks exactly like
Well, she
Power
could do
Girl.
Supergirl.
Right, and that's what I said. I was like, how about this one? She's like, nah, I'm not. You're probably watching right now, and I love you.
Come on.
So
come
just
on.
do it. Just get peer pressured
You should
and
do it.
cosplay.
Supergirl is great. It covers all the important bits, and
Yeah.
you don't have to make the skirt short. You can make it longer.
Yeah, you could do like the whole Mennonite skirt thing too,
No.
just down to the ankles.
Did you ever see the Smallville season 11
No.
drawing of Supergirl?
Did not.
She has a skirt cape, which I thought was the neatest design of Supergirl's costume ever. She has a cape, but it's a skirt.
I'm trying to think of what that would look like. So it's just like
So
a
her
continuous
skirt-
piece of cloth
it-
that goes backwards.
Well, it's like a skirt.
So she looks like a
but
sailboat.
she's wearing, yeah, you're kind of like that. She sails on the breeze.
Yeah, that's how she flies.
It's like her skirt she wears, but it just splits like at the hip bones and goes back into a cape. So her legs are free, like a leotard.
Oh, okay.
It's really a neat
okay,
design.
I think I get it. And you would know, so I'm just gonna take your word for that.
Whatever.
It's a
I'm
neat-
really big into comic books. I love the movies. I love the TV
Well,
series.
no, I
and
just
stuff
meant
like
about
that,
the
but
design of it in
Oh,
particular.
oh,
You're the
yeah.
expert on that.
I am a designer.
'Cause- yeah. So, because my wife gets mad at me when I call everything purple.
Oh,
She's
and
like,
it's
"No, that's lilac,"
No,
and I'm
it's
like,
lilac. It's maroon.
"I'm like, no, that's purple, and that's
Wow.
different purple, and that's
That's
more
okay.
different purple."
It's okay. So if I said chartreuse.
That's like some kind of green, isn't it?
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
you seen like Rebels? Star Wars Rebels.
It's been a minute.
Okay, Hera. She's like a chartreuse.
Yeah,
color.
yeah.
And you would probably say she's green.
Yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
green.
I think she's a
She's like,
chartreusey color.
that's green. These are like bluish, and then that's green.
Ooh, you called this bluish.
Your pants.
Yeah, because it's got the
Yeah.
holographic in it. It's on a
Yeah.
black fabric, but it's got a holograph
Right,
on it.
I don't know if that shows up well on the camera. Dale, how much
Oh, I
time we
can't
got?
see my legs. I got legs for days.
We're at 16. 16. All right, so we'll wrap it up. rambled on and
We
on.
blobbed
You're-
and blobbed.
So where can the lovely people find you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, I have a website, euphoriabjc.com, and on almost all social media, I am euphoria.bjc. And BJC stands for Bridget J. Cosplay.
There you go.
Ding.
That's what we got for today. So thank you all for joining us here at the Project Nerd Pavilion, brought to you by Pop-Up Lockers. Make sure if you're at the convention to check out Euphoria's booth, and if you're watching from home, go to those websites. Don't be a jerk.